What is a positive way to handle family conflict? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education, all through the lens of the principles self-government. And in this video, we're talking about a positive approach for solving family conflict. I'm super excited about this video. It's part of a greater series of videos all about family conflict. So hopefully you've gone into some of those. You've seen that there are many reasons people fall into family conflict. What happens when people fall into family conflict? We're not going to go down that road in this video because I have other videos about that. In this video, what we're going to be talking about are key lessons that you can teach your family that are proactive, positive lessons, and a fun activity that leads to a wonderful bonding experience for the family. And all of these things help to decrease or even stop family conflict. Family conflict can happen. I mean, we're humans. Any relationship can have moments in it with conflict, times where people don't feel understood or have different opinions or those types of things. But what you do about the conflict makes all the difference. So this channel is called the Teaching Self-Government channel. On this channel, I talk about everything through that lens of self-government, which means self-mastery, self-control, taking personal responsibility. That is all self-government. So when a person is self-governing, they're focusing on having a changed heart. They're focusing on uniting with the people around them, seeking to understand other people, then to be understood, giving themselves no answers, instructions. If it sounds like I'm listing some of the 4 basic skills, I am. So on this channel, I talk about the 4 basic skills of self-government that are the foundational skills and principles of actually being able to learn self-government and share it with our children. The 4 basic skills are following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. These children's books each teach one of the 4 basic skills of self-government: following instructions, accepting no answers and criticism, accepting consequences, and disagreeing appropriately. When a person learns all 4 of these 4 basic skills, they learn the steps to these 4 skills, that takes care of 99% of their behavioral problems. And I'm not just talking about child problems, I'm talking about adult problems. And I'm sure you know as well as I do that adults can cause conflict. Parents can cause power struggle and conflict just as often as children can. Now, there's different types of conflict that you could be addressing. These books are going to help the children on their side of the conflict, but if you learn the skills for yourself as well, they'll help you on your side of the conflict. They'll even help the children solve conflicts amongst themselves. What if the children can accept no answers from each other? That's powerful. What if they can drop the subject when somebody else tells them no for using a toy? Powerful. What if the children can disagree appropriately about who's taking more time in the bathroom or who gets to use the car this weekend? Powerful. What if they can do that without even being prompted? That's absolutely possible once they've had some practice. But parents just need to proactively teach these skills as well as know how to correct them when they go wrong in a self-governed, calm way, and then everything changes. So I would like to share 2 activities that you can do to help instruct your children and motivate your children, as well as yourself, to have less family conflict. Honestly, once you learn the skills of self-government, you'll see the family conflict just fade away. But sometimes we have to get out of the habit of family conflict first, and a little bit of information or a why can really make a difference. What I would do is I would have a conversation with my children about how their brains work. So we have the front brain, which is that prefrontal cortex. It does all of the logical problem solving for the brain. Then there's the midbrain, which is that emotional part of the brain, which is where we process when we're starting to get worried or stressed or something like that. But then there's the back part of the brain. Some people call it the downstairs part of the brain, or you might hear it called fight, flight, or freeze part of the brain. This is the part of the brain where it's really hard to think. In fact, that's a really important thing. to understand. When a person goes completely out of instructional control, they can't process well, they can't think well, and they certainly can't solve their problems. So I teach the children that when you're in the front part of the brain, you have 100% of your ability to think. When you're in midbrain, you have maybe about 40% ability to be able to think. When you're in back brain, all the way at fight, flight, freeze, you have maybe 10% ability to think, sometimes if even that. What you need to do is help them understand that they want to stay in front brain, then make a plan for how you can talk to each other and solve problems to keep yourself going to front brain. Using skills like disagreeing appropriately, which was that little purple book that I held up in the set, actually helps a person go to front brain when they're starting to have a problem, because they start thinking about seeking to understand the other person, they share certain words with them, and then they share their point of view also. And they have to do it all with calmness. Just even thinking about calmness, preparing to be calm, which is part of all four of those four basic skills, is huge front brain work. So, teaching the children about the brain helps them be able to assess what's going on. It also prepares you so that later you can say, you know what, I think we're going a little bit midbrain. Let's take some opportunity to take some deep breaths right here, and then let's just do a disagree appropriately so that you can really be understood, so we don't have to have a conflict or a problem. Now, hopefully, the family would care about not having a conflict or problem because you have a family vision. So I'm not going to go into great detail about that because there are videos on this channel about creating a family vision. And also in my course, I go into detail about how to help families have buy-in about having a family vision. So you need a picture of what you're working toward as a family. That gives everyone a reason why they would care about changing their behavior and not having conflict in the first place. So then here's a fun idea for you, something you can work toward as a family. If you've created that family vision and you are regularly practicing that family vision by having regular family activities, then activities should be a fun part of your family life already. If not, just plan an activity, something you think that everybody would find fun. Don't put it on the calendar yet, just dream it up. Let's do this activity, something that everyone would love. And then you get out a jar, maybe a quart-sized jar or like a glass with a lid on it, something glass with a lid, and then another jar or another glass with a lid on it. In one glass you have beans, in the other glass it is empty. And then what you do is you practice being understanding for each other. You practice using your skills. So you've learned those four basic skills. Every time you use those four basic skills and you actually focus on that family vision, you move beans from one jar to the next. So if you follow instructions, that's 5 steps to that skill, so there's 5 beans. If you accept a no answer and drop the subject, that's 4 steps to that skill. You put 4 beans in. Once you fill up this other jar with beans and the one you started with is empty, then the family gets to go and do the fun activity. So then you put it on the schedule, or even if you can, do it within the next day or 2. But get the whole family working on putting beans in the jar as they use their skills of self-government, and then you will be able to get your family more positively focused on positive behaviors instead of always thinking about the negative. Becoming a family that communicates well and has less family conflicts, or maybe even none at all, is actually a possibility. I know because my family does not have family conflicts. We don't argue with each other. If someone has a different opinion, we have a way where we can talk about it and express it. You can find more information about all of this on my TSG parenting course, which is on my website, teachingselfgovernment.com. Go to that website now. I'll see you there.